Do you ever wonder what it's like to be eaten? No, you probably don't. I have, and we might think of it a different way than you do. Being eaten to most people might seem horrific and something to avoid, but for us, it feels like a purpose. We are giving life. We are making life better by providing something others need to live. Something that tastes good and makes people and their taste buds happy. Something that will bring good health to people. The feeling of giving others life is what gives us the feeling of life. It is a reason to keep going. And it is the ultimate goal for all of us. Well, almost all of us. This is the story of Pedro. Pedro was brought home one day from the grocery store with all his friends. Pedro and his friends were inseparable. They were a family, all from the same tree. In Pedro's free time, he did what all bananas do. They hang. They watch the birds go by through the window, they catch a peek of whatever is on the television, listen to whatever music is on the radio, and watch the people go round his living space, waiting for his time of use to come. However, Pedro wasn't like the rest of his friends. Some might say Pedro had personality where other bananas did not. Pedro's favorite band was The Who, and his favorite television channel was HGTV. Pedro loved fantasizing about all the nice kitchens on the television. Although his friends were all perfectly happy with their own. Pedro loved watching the sunset at night and enjoyed observing the family monkey. Most of all, Pedro liked to think. This was something bananas never did. Pedro would stay up late after watching the sunset, after all the other bananas, people, and monkeys were asleep. Pedro would sit in silence and in darkness and think about his life. Pedro knew he was put here for a reason. He knew he was different from the other bananas. He knew he was special. What he did not know was how special he was.
Pedro.
Ah! Oh, peel off, Matt. I was just getting some rest. It's 6 in the morning.
I know, but look, Owen just got taken.
He's being used. Go get him, Owen.
One day that'll be us, serving our purpose. I can't wait for that day to come.
I get so anxious waiting for it to be picked. You ever wonder what it's like?
No, all I know is that it'll be full of everlasting glory and happiness. Being chosen by the people is a banana's nirvana.
Sure, but...
Not reaching your nirvana is just rotting. You don't want to be a banana who's thrown out and left to rot away, do you?
No, I guess not. Our nirvana does sound pretty great.
I know it does, but for now we've got nothing better to do than wait.
That day continued as any other day. However, at night, Pedro was awakened by an unusual ruckus.
Hmm? Matt, get up.
What is it, Pedro? It's late and I'm trying to have some rest.
It's Owen. I saw him. He's in the trash. He's dead. I saw him. Peeled, all his skin gone and thrown in the trash like some plastic bag.
What? Pedro, that's ridiculous. You're saying things. This is what happens when you stay up all night thinking and making yourself scared. You're starting to drive yourself mad, and it's having an effect on the rest of the bunch. They're worried about you and the thoughts you're putting in all of our heads.
We don't have heads, Matthew.
Stop making excuses and start making a change. Stop trying so hard to be different. Just go to bed. Choosing time is coming and you want to be fully charged for when that happens.
You're right. Sorry. Ridiculous ideas.
Pedro took one last look at the garbage can before finally falling asleep. Little did Pedro know this was his final night with the bunch. By the next morning, everything will change.
Whoa,
Yeah, woo,
let's go.
yeah. Let's go, yeah, woo, yeah.
Let's go.
That's our friend who just got eaten in front of all of our eyes. And you're cheering?
He served his purpose. What do you think people use it for? He reached his nirvana. You should be happy for him. That's going to be you one day.
Don't you think that hurts a little? Are you not concerned that our friend is being digested as we speak? Don't you guys hear him scream?
Now you're hearing things too, Pedro? What's gotten into you?
I just think that we can do better things with our lives than hang around all the time, doing nothing, just waiting for our time of use to come.
There's nothing better, Pedro. We're serving our purpose here and that's it. Why do you try so hard to be different?
It was at this time Pedro realized who he really was. Unwanted. He thought to himself,
I'm a defective banana. The bunch would be better off without me.
and this was the start of Pedro's journey. That night, while all the other bananas were sleeping, Pedro did what no bananas ever dared to do before. He broke off from his bunch and left, in search of something.
Pedro?
Matt?
Pedro, what a loser he was, honestly. I've never seen a banana lose his mind like that ever. No, I don't miss him. Are you kidding me?
Oh. And you were supposed to be my friend, you snake. Treating me like a kid all this time.
Pedro was looking to discover something different. Pedro knew there must be more to this life than sacrifice. He was looking for a reason to live.
I wish I had kids. Glad that wasn't me. Wait a minute. Treating me like a kid, the kid on TV, the kid who just had Olivia. This must be a sign from the banana gods. This is what I'm here for. I'm destined to be a dad. Where others won't bring you happiness, children will.
Or at least that's what it said in the Martha Stewart cookbook. When Pedro got to Hawaii, he was old and brown. It wasn't long before Pedro found his forever home. In a nice field on a hill, one overlooking the sandy beaches of the Hawaiian shoreline. This was the spot where Pedro finally lay to rest. Many years later, Pedro lives on, but not as a banana, as a tree. In time, Pedro will transform into a great banana tree where he is surrounded by his children, his very own bananas that live now because of his sacrifice. Pedro found his meaning in life. He found a reason to live. He found something or some things that made him happy. And he lived that way, happily ever after, surrounded by those that loved him forever. This is the story of Pedro.